Chicanos, how's it going, everybody? I gotta make this video on what is the understanding on what do I believe. Now, let's just talk about, I always been curious and always had a curious mind on accepting history and people's point of views and the logics. And like I've always, starting, about freshman year during 8th grade for me, getting into the History Channel and the Discovery Channel more, making my mind just really think, just, man, wow, just space, and seeing the stuff about the Aztecs on the History Channel and the Mayans, using those. So, it's up, not everybody has that mind to where they can listen to somebody they don't like, or to get somebody else's point of view or understanding why they believe this way. But let's talk on the understanding of how I do accept that, yes, the so-called African-American, so-called African black man would be the original human, because everything recesses from black and not from what a Caucasian can't have darker skinned people, and darker skinned people could have lighter skinned children. So I understand that. Do I like a human? I understand hue comes from H-U-E, and hue means someone of who has like melanin, a darker person of so-called color, and all this, like what I just said, melanin in our skin, melanated. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but like Caucasians, they burn in the sun. I don't know how many of you guys, Mexicans and Chicanos, like to really understand what is and why is. Some of you guys, some of us like to just get one thing and just, this is it. Everything else, whatever. But that's never been me. And like when I made our Mexicans, Hebrew Israelites, some people got mad, but I don't even know if people were hearing me out. I was saying, what do you think? Have any of you guys sat down and listened to what they're saying? And so let's get onto some topics on this one by one. Basically, yes, I do believe that black people were already here. Darker skinned people were already here. All around the planet, and yeah, the so-called Asian, Mongoloid, whatever term you want to use, they came over the land barrier and possibly did mix, and whatever. If that is the way it was, then it is. So as in, would the Aztecs really be black, or, like darker skinned people? Yeah, they would be the dark brown people. Like everywhere around the world, everybody was darker. And like when you listen to some of these people who say they're the Moors or teach history of the black origins, it makes sense. It's an understanding. And they would be way darker. Their hair probably not as woolly because of the areas of what we live in. Like they said, black people who live in Africa, their hair needs to be like that. It helps them from the sun, and the different climates, their hair don't need to be that woolly, and it evolved in climates and land. So like I guess the Australians, who were of black descent, their hair wasn't as woolly as the Africans, possibly because of climate and the science point of view. So, whatever, if that is the way it was, then it is. And if Mongoloids did come over here, I don't know, I wouldn't even know what I am. Am I a part of the Mongoloids? Could I have been a part of the original darker people, and I'm part of the mixture, because some of them did mix. People were mixing. I always understood, even believed, and from watching the History Channel, that people were already here before Christopher Columbus, because I was into watching that. those channels, they're good information as a kid. It helped open my mind up. I wasn't into school, but I was into sitting down and watching that. So, I mean, I don't know what to, there's, for me, it's no fight for that, as in, I'm not gonna break my back and try to challenge people and fight and continue to make posts. I never did anyways, and I just understand the situation that we are in now, and when we get out of the situation, we can understand history even more. But I mean, other than what I said, I mean, for me, there would be no more to say. Like, it is, even understanding what we were taught, we always knew we were some so-called mutation from something, from monkeys, or, from some sow, from whatever. We always knew we grew or mutated from something, but now we understand, okay, the darker descent people are more the original people. Caucasian people are the youngest breed amongst the species. They're the youngest race. They were the ones who were trapped in the Caucasus Mountains up in Europe during the Ice Age, and they came down, and so Rome and Italy and Spain, dark people, so-called black man was already there, and Caucasians, I do understand that, they were the ones that were barbarian. Obviously, even like you listen to the Mexican movement, they even talk a little bit about that. Like the Germanics, they were still walking and crawling on all fours, while our people were building, and we had culture and civilized cities and already. So, I mean, that's, yes, understanding. And if none of you Chicanos or Mexicans don't know anything that I'm talking about, you need to go listen to these brothers, people like Dr. Seti or Sinetta, all these so-called Moors, even the Hebrew Israelites. Now, on the Bible sense, I understand from listening to the Hebrew Israelites, those brothers, that the Bible's not a white man's Bible like I thought it was. That white man didn't create this, that they took culture and history from the so-called blacks. So they never really came up with anything. They just took everything, obviously. So I respect and understand that the Bible is not a Caucasian man's Bible. He didn't write that that history. It's taken history that they took and created. I do accept and believe that, yeah, the Caucasian, so-called Jewish people who are Caucasian that live over there, that they are not the real Jews, that they took over, and obviously Caucasians colonized the world, and it is understanding and that when Caucasians first started going around the world, they seen that everybody else was of color, so-called color, and they were no other Caucasian. There was no people that looked like them. They're the minority, they understood. And obviously they knew how to backstab, deceive people by shaking people's hand and stabbing us in the back after being taught how to live and survive in the world. But on the Bible, like I was saying, the Hebrew Israelites, on how they believe, it's understanding. I listen to the way they break down the Bible for months, for like 1 year. I listened to those guys with the Bible out, and they were being challenged by different people and breaking it down. And man, it's a very interesting, and a lot of respect to those guys who are able to go out, and to anybody. That's why all those Jewish people, Jehovah Witnesses, people that would knock on your door, even before, like as 17, 18, being a curious like I was before I knew history of what I so-called our history, I always talk to people because I always want to get an understanding. I like being challenged in my thought on how my point of view of life. I like giving other people's point of view and giving them a point of view. So to me, I always listen to them because I grew up, most like a lot of us, understanding and being a so-called Christian growing up, younger days, you know. But, so those brothers, if you never listen to them, that's just, If you know that they've been out and you still think that's a white man's Bible, that's because you just never listened to them. If you think that they're preaching that a Caucasian man, it's very understanding that everything that's been created is of darker heritage people, and Caucasian man, they, we already know they colonized the world, obviously. So, I mean, how much more could I argue? I never argue or want to argue about any of that. I mean, there's no point in me arguing with a black dude over what is what of history, like I was talking about him. I mean, this is my point of view, how I understand it. I accept that stuff. And now, like I said, well, I'm here for my breed of people, my so-called race of people, the Chicanos, the Mexicans, us, people who are a part of even if, the Cherokee and those people are not the true aboriginals, they're of Mongolian descent that traveled here, but, they're still more native, true native than the Caucasian man. Caucasian man is the youngest man of the species, period. I understand that, and people need to understand that. That's what need to be taught. This is what needs to be taught. I accept that real history that those brothers teach. It's good to go listen to those fools and go do your understanding. So, I mean, what more else could I say, Chicanos? I mean, I don't even know what to title this as. Like, what's the truth? I mean, tell me what you guys think. Tell me if you guys ever listen to them. If not, you just don't have that curious mind, that curious true soul, maybe. Or you just can't shut everything down and think you're correct. And other than that, I'm here for my Chicanos. That's one thing that I learned from watching the brothers and the black community. They're there for theirs, well then I'm going to be here for ours, okay?